Welcome back to TalkFreak. Today, I bring you a story that will touch your heart, inspire your soul, and teach you powerful lessons about life, success, and never giving up. This is the story of a man who was not just an actor, not just a comedian. He was a legend, a man whose name is written in golden letters in the history of cinema, a man who made the whole world laugh while hiding his own tears. His name, Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin, but we all know him as Charlie Chaplin. No one, absolutely no one, can match his greatness. His work is timeless, his comedy is universal, and his life is a masterpiece of perseverance, creativity, and the power of never giving up. Even today, decades after his time, he still lives in our hearts. His movies bring joy, his struggles inspire, and his story, oh my friends, will remind you, no matter how hard life gets, you must keep going. This is not just a story. This is a journey of pain, rejection, poverty, success, and immortality. Watch till the end because this story will not only help you improve your English, it will motivate you like never before. Are you ready? Let's begin. A hard beginning. Charlie Chaplin was born in the heart of London, England, on April 16, 1889. His parents, Hannah Chaplin and Charles Chaplin Sr., were both performers in the world of music and theater. They lived for the stage, singing, acting, entertaining. But life had different plans for young Charlie. His father was an alcoholic who drank himself into oblivion and abandoned the family when Charlie was just a boy. His mother, Hannah, was left alone to raise two children, Charlie and his older half-brother, Sidney. And life was cruel. They lived in poverty, deep, unbearable poverty. Sometimes there was no food on the table. Sometimes Charlie went to bed hungry. Sometimes his mother pretended to eat, just so her children could have a little more. They moved from one small, dirty room to another, always in fear of being thrown out. But Charlie, even as a child, found ways to smile. His mother, despite her pain, was a talented singer and actress. Charlie loved watching her perform. He would sit backstage, mesmerized, dreaming that one day he too would stand before an audience. But fate struck again. One terrible night, while performing on stage, Hannah lost her voice. She tried to sing, but nothing came out. The audience shouted, threw things, demanded she leave. And then, something magical happened. A little boy, just 5 years old, walked onto the stage. It was Charlie. He picked up the microphone, sang, danced, and the crowd roared with laughter. They clapped, they cheered. That night, little Charlie performed for the first time and felt the magic of making people happy. Deep inside, he knew, this is what I was born to do. But soon, life turned darker. His mother's health declined. Her mind began to fail. Eventually, she was sent to a mental hospital. Charlie and his brother were left alone. No family, no money, nowhere to go. They became street children, wandering, begging, fighting for survival. Imagine it, a small boy, cold and hungry, searching trash cans for food. That was Charlie Chaplin. But did he give up? Never. Because he had a dream. The dream begins. Charlie and Sidney were sent to workhouses, terrible places where poor people worked in exchange for food and shelter. They were cold, dirty, and cruel. Charlie was only 7 when he first entered one. He was separated from his brother, alone, scared, and forced to labor for survival. When he finally reunited with his mother, her mind was almost gone. She didn't even recognize him. Charlie watched helplessly as doctors took her away to the asylum. He cried, screamed, but there was nothing he could do. He was truly alone. And yet, even in that darkness, he carried a light. His dream. He wanted to perform, to make people laugh, to bring joy to a world that had given him nothing. So he worked, any job he could find. He washed dishes, delivered newspapers, made toys, but his heart was always on the stage. One day he saw a group of street performers entertaining a crowd. Something clicked inside him. He joined them, singing, dancing, doing small comedy acts. At first, nobody cared, but he kept going. Kept improving, studying every move, every expression, and slowly people began to notice. They stopped, they laughed, and Charlie felt it, the power to make people happy. A Star is Born. At 14, Charlie got his first big break. He joined a theater group called the 8 Lancashire Lads. He worked harder than anyone, learning, rehearsing, perfecting every move. A director noticed him and said, "This boy is special." Soon, Charlie got bigger roles. At 16, he landed a part in a play called Sherlock Holmes. He wasn't a street performer anymore. He was now acting in real theaters in front of real audiences. People loved him. And then came the moment that changed his life forever. The journey to America. In 1910, Charlie got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go to America with a famous comedy troupe, Fred Karno's company. America, the land of dreams. When he arrived, everything was bigger, brighter, louder. And there, he saw the birth of something new, Hollywood. In 1913, a film company called Keystone Studios noticed him. They gave him a small role in a silent film. It wasn't much, but Charlie saw opportunity. He created a character, a small man in oversized clothes, a tight coat, a tiny hat, a little mustache, and a funny walk. That character became the most iconic figure in cinema history, the Tramp. At first, people didn't understand. But when Charlie moved, when he expressed emotion without a single word, the world fell in love. His films exploded in popularity. Studios begged him to make more. In just a few years, the poor boy from London became the biggest movie star in the world. By 1917, Charlie Chaplin wasn't just famous, he was a phenomenon. His face was everywhere, and yet, deep down, he never forgot who he was. That hungry boy from the streets. Creating his own empire, Charlie wanted control. He didn't just want to act, he wanted to create. At that time, actors were controlled by studios, but Charlie said, "No one will control me. I will make my own films, my own way." And so, in 1918, he built Chaplin Studios, becoming his own boss. Then came his masterpiece, The Kid, 1921. It wasn't just a comedy, it was his story about love, loss, and hope. People laughed, people cried, and the world fell in love all over again. Charlie realized something powerful. Movies could change lives, and he would use them to do exactly that. He became the richest actor in the world, earning $1 million per film. But he never forgot his past. He still worked harder than anyone, planning every joke, every movement, every emotion with perfection. The sound era and a silent genius. By the late 1920s, sound films, talkies, arrived. Everyone said silent movies were dead, but Charlie refused. He said, "Movies don't need words. Emotions are more powerful than words." In 1931, he released City Lights, a silent film in the age of sound. And yet, it became one of the most emotional movies ever made. The final scene, where the tramp looks at the blind girl, remains one of the greatest moments in film history. Charlie proved that emotions speak louder than words. The Great Dictator. By the late 1930s, Adolf Hitler was rising in Germany, spreading hate and fear. Charlie noticed something strange. Hitler had the same mustache as him, so he decided to use comedy as a weapon. In 1940, he made The Great Dictator his first talking film and his most daring. In its final scene, Charlie gave one of the most powerful speeches ever. "We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. Let us fight for a world of reason. Let us fight for freedom." The world listened. That speech is still remembered as one of the greatest in history. Charlie had become more than an entertainer. He was a voice for humanity. But Hollywood didn't like that. He was too powerful, too independent. They accused him of false crimes and turned against him. In 1952, Charlie Chaplin was forced to leave America. The country he had helped build turned its back on him. Exile, peace, and legacy heartbroken, Charlie moved to Switzerland with his family. He lived a quiet, peaceful life, writing, reading, walking in his garden, playing with his children. And though he was far from Hollywood, the world never forgot him. Then, in 1972, after 20 long years, Hollywood realized its mistake. They invited him back and gave him an honorary Oscar. When he stepped on stage, the audience stood and clapped for 12 minutes, the longest standing ovation in Oscar history, even after everything Charlie had won. Love, loss, and the final chapter. Charlie's love life was complicated. He was married 4 times. His first 3 marriages ended painfully, with heartbreak, lawsuits, and betrayal. People said he can make the world laugh, but he cannot find happiness in love. But then came Una O'Neill. In 1943, when Charlie was 54 and Una was just 18, they fell in love. People criticized the age gap, but they didn't care. Una became his strength, his best friend, his true love. They stayed together until the end, raising 8 children in peace and happiness. Charlie spent his final 25 years in Switzerland, surrounded by love, family, and memories. He often watched his old movies and smiled. On December 25, 1977, Charlie Chaplin passed away in his sleep. It was Christmas Day. He was 88 years old. The world went silent. The man who made billions laugh was gone. The stolen body. But even after death, his story took a shocking twist. 3 months later, thieves broke into his grave and stole his body. They demanded $600,000 from his family, but Una refused. She said, "Charlie would have laughed at this." After weeks of searching, police caught the thieves, 2 poor men from Eastern Europe who did it out of desperation. Charlie's body was recovered and reburied in a cement-covered grave, safe forever. The legacy lives on. Even though Charlie Chaplin died in 1977, he still lives. Every time we laugh, every time a movie makes us feel something deep. He taught us that life isn't about money, fame, or power. It's about love, laughter, and never giving up. He had nothing and became everything. He faced rejection, betrayal, and exile, but he never stopped creating, never stopped dreaming. Charlie Chaplin is not just a name. He is an emotion. He is the greatest comedian in history, and his story will inspire generations to come. So if he could do it, so can you. Dream big, work hard, never give up, because one day your story might inspire the world. And always remember his most famous words, "A day without laughter is a day wasted." Thank you, Charlie. We will never forget you. This is TalkFreak. Stay inspired, stay unstoppable.